Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sovolution 2020. And I am so delighted today to be joined with Neelam Minocha, Britain's spiritual alchemist, healer, and channel. She is a quantum master with her unique gift of transporting you into other worlds and dimensions through her energy transmissions of divine love. She has brought healing and transformation to the hearts and souls of thousands of people from around the world with her ability to see clearly into the cellular memories, DNA, and quantum field, thus enabling her to get to the heart of dis-ease and the core underlying issues at hand. So I am really happy to be joined with you today. I've been following your work for quite some time. And as we were talking off air, discussing, there is really no better person that I could think of at the moment to really cover this whole topic and this grand topic of divine masculine and divine feminine energies and what that actually means. And I know there's been a lot of confusion on that. That's been a big topic that a lot of people have been talking about, but I don't know if there's really been enough clarity to really bring things down to earth a little bit about what this actually means. So maybe we could start there and you could talk a little bit about your experience working with these energies within yourself and within others, and what this actually means.
Mhm. Well, thank you for having me on, Chris. And this is a topic that I work with and I help people with. And myself, coming from the corporate world, I was an accountant, a director in the corporate world, so it was very much driven with ambition and perfectionism and deadlines and go, 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 go. And that was my life then. It was fast paced. It was deadlines. It was just run, 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 and it was all action based and results based. And moving into the field that I'm doing now, if I'd looked back, I would never have imagined that I'd gone into this field and what has opened up for me. But working on myself, working on my journey, I experienced a depression when I was in early 2000s, mid 2000, and I think 2005 to 2008. I went through a phase where I just wasn't feeling fulfilled from the outside, and no matter what I seeked outside, it just didn't bring me that joy. And I knew that there was something else that I needed to discover within myself. And society and the way we are in our Western world, it teaches us not to connect with our emotions, that emotions are a sign of weakness, that we need to toughen up. I never used to ask for help from anyone. I used to do everything by myself. I was a perfectionist, so I demanded perfection from myself. I had these long lists that I had to achieve, and then I'd sabotage myself and beat myself up with my mind and tell myself that it wasn't enough, I wasn't good enough. And so we have this internal chatter from the logical mind, the thinking mind, that creates this where we put ourselves down. But as I started to do this work and work with the energy, it's a co-creation, it's a balance of the two. So we have the left side of our body is our feminine energy, the right side is our masculine energy. The left side is all about our intuition, our senses, our extra perception of using our third eye, tuning into our heart, tuning into our gut brain. Our heart brain and our gut brain is actually more powerful and more sophisticated system than our logical mind. But we are so used to using our logical mind that it's very limited in its perception and its scope. When we start to work with the left side of the body and open up our senses, our feminine energy, which is our water, which is emotion, it is our compassion, it's heart energy, it's that nurturing energy, kindness, sensitivity, receptive energy, so allowing ourselves to receive, allowing ourselves to tune in, to be present with our emotions, not block them, not push them down, not swallow them and tell them I can't deal with you, but just to allow them to come up through us, and really look at what's troubling us, what's triggering us, what's affecting us from the outside world. When we look for others to validate us and when we look for others to make us feel whole, it doesn't bring us joy, not lasting joy. It's about really connecting with what's going on inside of me. Where am I not happy? Where am I not feeling joy? Where am I not feeling fulfilled? And so this is the energy of the feminine aspect of ourself, our yin energy. And when we allow that receptive energy to come through, when we start to listen to our inner voice, we start to make changes in our lives that guide us towards our happiness. Our masculine is the right side of the body, so the right side is the logical mind, the left brain, and it's all about doing, achieving, focusing forward, and it can be aggressive, it can be impatient. We are just striving. Everything's black and white. We're not connected with our emotions. So this is when it's out of balance. It also affects our outside world. So every relationship is affected by our inner balance. So if we are imbalanced, say we're too masculine, we take up, if you think of the yin and the yang energy, the masculine and the feminine energy. If you're very masculine in your energy, you're going to attract people into your circle space that are very feminine, because there's no room for them to come into that space. So you're taking up all the energy here, and then the feminine is can only take up a little space. As we start to bring that balance within ourselves, we start to attract relationships that are more whole. We start to attract people that are more balanced, and everything in our outside world reflects what's going on inside. So even in relationships, you will have to look at codependency. It will force you to look at, you'll trigger each other in a relationship. But what the partner is actually highlighting to you is the wounded parts of you and yourself that need healing, that need alignment, that need balancing. And so when we start to become very present with our emotions, we realize what is out of balance, and where we are imbalanced in our field. We carry imprints from lifetimes, from childhood, and they get stuck and imprinted in our field, and the trauma gets locked into the energy body. Now, I look at all the organs. There are emotions that get locked into the organs, into the joints, into the heart center, into the chest, our throat, where we've suppressed our voice. If we suppress our voice, the energy is also locked into the liver. And so we learn from a very young age to swallow our emotions, to not speak our truth. And that becomes aggression, it becomes angry, and it sits in the liver. We comfort eat, we drink, we take drugs. All of these things have pushed down our emotions, but we're not ready to face them. And so when we start to understand the feminine aspects of our emotions, our sensitivity, our nurturing, our compassion, kindness, heart energy, and look at our masculine energy, which is the doing, the being, the taking the action. As an accountant, I used to work with the balance sheet and balancing the left and the right side of the body. So it was all about numbers, directing numbers, but actually it's directing energy. So if you think about the body as a balance sheet, when everything is in balance, everything flows with ease. And when it's not balanced, then we are out of alignment. So we're either too feminine, which means too sensitive, too emotional. We may be creative, but we can't then take the action and bring that energy into the world. When we're too masculine, we can be aggressive, we're not connecting with the creative side, which is, the creative side is our subconscious mind, and it's the infinite potential of the universe. You're tapping into a whole different field, and it's limitless, it's powerful. So it's as you bring this into union, you really start to flow with the universal language, with heart language, with and the infinite potential that is out there in the universe. You become a co-creator. So it's powerful to balance the two. It really is.
Well, thank you for that eloquent explanation of what these energies actually mean. And just to note, regardless of what gender you identify with, these, we can call them yin and yang, whatever you want to call them. It is these two energies that exist within. And we've all been somewhat hardened in the West by a lot of the patriarchal society that we've grown up in, right? And so my experience as a cisgendered man living, and I've had a lot of privilege being a white, straight man living in the US. However, I've still felt the effects of this on such a deep level from just what society and the expectations that have been placed on us have been living really much, regardless of what gender you identify with, out of balance with the feminine and those emotions. And that's something that I think for a decent a part of my life, I've been really tapping into that more feminine side, that sensitive side, and really allow that to shine through while continuing to be mission driven and purpose driven and getting my voice out into the world, my authentic voice and all of that. But I think we've all been hardened in some way. And so with that said, what can we do, if anything, to start tuning into this a little bit deeper to try and, or just allow these energies to balance themselves out? Is there any sort of practice or anything that you maybe could recommend that people start with?
I think the first thing is meditation, and what that is an act of self-love where you sit with yourself and you allow yourself to be present with whatever you are feeling. So honoring your emotions, because our emotions are indicators of where we're at. Now we can push them down and we can suppress them, but actually they're still bubbling away under the surface, and they're going to come up again and again. You're going to be triggered over and over again. So the important thing is to create some sacred space, or some space where you are still, you are silent, and you connect with yourself and you allow your emotions to come up through you so that you can process what you're carrying. If you need to release the sadness, maybe you need to cry, or you need to just write, or something to express, or listen to music, just to help you to find again your balance point where you've processed what's coming up and then you're calm again. Energy work is really important because we carry imprints in our energetic field. So we have 4 bodies within the physical: the energy body, the mental body, the emotional body, and then the energetic body. So 4 bodies we are working with. Trauma that we've experienced, maybe from childhood, from past life, gets locked into the energy field. It will trigger us every time. And when I work with clients, I find things going back to ancient Egypt, or to Victorian times, or Native American time, where we've had lifetimes. We're still carrying the imprints. And when we start to release them, they are as raw as the day that they experienced them. And so they create that imbalance of emotion within us. We're still being triggered by those emotions. And then we keep attracting those patterns of behavior and cycles with people playing out those roles again and again and again, until we can go back and release the emotion that triggered the situation in the first place. As you release the emotional charge, you'll still maybe have the memory, but you won't have the trigger anymore. You won't feel wounded by it, and you won't react anymore. So energy work is really important, to go back and clear through the 4 bodies, the emotions, the stories, the imprints, the memories, so that you can bring yourself into that centered space of balance. So energy work, meditation, I would say 2 very, very important things to work with. Sound as well is very good, where sound goes to the deepest parts of our being. So you can work with alchemy bowls, singing bowls, any kind of sound vibration. Again, we are energy, we are made of light and sound. So get that, what sound does, it allows you to go into those areas that are locked. So I see emotion locked in the body. It allows the energy to go there and release and dissolve whatever needs to come up, and then it starts to move through you. So those are the 3 things that I use, and I really believe, and I use sound in all my sessions, my voice as well as an activator. So when I see a child, I see a person, and they're carrying things from childhood, where they experience something very painful. I will naturally start to talk to that inner child, as a motherly energy, and suddenly you'll find that person is crying, and you've reached that wound, you've opened that wound, and once you've opened that wound, it can start to heal, dry up, and then it will be no more a wound. So we work with many elements, but yeah, sound, energy, and meditation, I would say, very, very powerful tools.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. And I have a question in regards to sound. So, is it more effective from your experience to have an in-person sound experience, but or simply just finding some sound healing that you can listen to over headphones? What do you? I mean, preferably probably in person, but is it just as effective as just by sitting in the comfort of your home, meditating, listening to a sound experience?
Yeah, so if you look on YouTube, there are lots of different sound, different frequencies, 432 hertz or 528 hertz. They start to harmonize the energy field of the body. And you'll start to feel, if you're very sensitive to energy, you'll start to feel a vibration moving through your field. And they start to just harmonize the body. So those sound frequencies are really good. You can do them in the comfort of your home. There are plenty on YouTube, so you can find the sound that you like. Alchemy bowls and singing bowls and koshi bells and things like that, tuning forks, you can work over Skype or Zoom, or you can work in person. Again, with energy work, any kind of sound or energy work has the same effect whether you're on the other side of the world. So many of my clients are on the other side of the world, but we do the work together like this, and it works. Once the intention is set and the sound frequencies are aligned with the soul and what they need, magic happens and there's a huge release that takes place. So yeah, you can do either. But if you really want to experience what it feels like to be bathed in sound, it's always nice to be present as well. So
Wonderful, wonderful, and thank you for sharing that. And what would you recommend for people that do an at-home practice? How much time should they spend? I mean, this isn't something that you have to spend time with it and to continue to really harness those energies within. It doesn't just happen at overnight. So by sitting at home doing these meditations, I mean, how long do you recommend people do this for? And is it continuous, ongoing?
meditation is a practice and it's a way of life. And I saw when I went through my depression how I was guided not to go onto Prozac or anything antidepressants, but really work with meditation. Meditation came to me, it was a word that just flashed in my ear, and I just had to listen. I thought, okay, at that time I didn't know what meditation was, and so I went and learned. But the key to meditation is regularity. If you set aside 20 to 30 minutes every day, and we say we have busy lives, but actually we can make that time. How much time do we spend on social media? How much time do we spend on things that really are not relevant or don't need our energy? We can always find time when we are committed to awakening ourselves at deeper levels. So I would say 20 to 30 minutes practice is very important. Do it every day for a month, and you will start to see a change in your life. You'll start to be more fluid, more relaxed, more receptive. Your energy starts to rise, so you start to attract more opportunities, new people into your space, because you're lifting your vibration. And so when you're feeling really low, it's really good to just get yourself into the practice of creating that space and meditating. And I saw what
Wonderful.
it did for my life. It opened up everything. So 20 to 30 minutes every day if they can. If not, 3 times a week, twice a week, anything where you put time aside is powerful. When you look at your mind, and like, I used to have no self-love for myself. And so my journey was to start to um, love myself and love who I am and accept myself. So I think it's been a gradual process of, yeah, many people came into my life to teach me that lesson, many, many
Mm,
souls. And so they were reflecting back to me what was going on inside of me. And if you can look at someone else and you can blame or you can do all of that, but actually they're just showing you the wounded parts of you that need healing and need to be honored and accepted. So it was a gradual process of many souls, and each time I learned something and I evolved and I grew, and there was more compassion for myself, more love for myself, and then someone else would come in to show me another lesson. I would learn that lesson, and then I'd go and learn another lesson, and another person would come in. So it's really beautiful how this flows. As your frequency changes, you attract people on the next vibration, and then they come in to teach you the next lesson, and then you evolve again. So you're continually breaking your patterns, you're continually releasing your wounding, you're continually looking at yourself and where you've allowed yourself to be disempowered rather than empowered. And as you start to do this, your heart starts to expand. You start to have more love and compassion yourself. You're not so angry or sabotaging with your words to yourself. And you start to open up to the universal language of flow and surrender and abundance, and so much magic happens here, and you start to hear things from different beings. You get signs, you get feathers, you get numbers, you get messages on the billboard. So much magic starts to happen as your heart starts to expand. And the key is the heart. The heart is, when we come into union, and you think about this, the Namaste sign, this is the balance of the divine union, and it's at the heart center. And as we start to open our heart, we open up to the infinite abundance of the universe, and everything becomes one. We become connected to everything, animals, plant life, Mother Earth, our guides. It's just a magical dance. So yeah, self-love starts with the self, and there will be many souls that will come into your life to show you and teach you that lesson.
Mm. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I want to give you the space to really give any sort of intuitive messages that you're feeling that needs to be given, if so, if any, at this point, and really open that space to you.
Okay. I think, as a planet, we are ascending and we are moving in vibration. And so if you think about a rocket going up into space, as it goes up, it releases the outer casing and it's lighter in form. So what we are doing as human beings here on the planet, we are learning all about self-love, self-value, self-respect. We are stepping into our power. So we're having to release all of this armor that's around us. And these are the stories, the imprints, the ancestral patterns that we've carried, the karmic patterns that we've carried from lifetimes. This dense energy and this armor that we wear, we're releasing it, releasing it, releasing it. And we're going through so much change. We must release this now for us to be lighter in form and to ascend, to evolve, to the next phase of our journey. As we start to let go of this, we start to tap into our truth, our authentic self, who we are as a soul, why we are here on earth, what we've come to do, our purpose, our passion, our mission. And suddenly things start to become more about not just me, my life, my fame, my intention, my goal. It becomes something greater than you. And it's about us, about collaboration rather than competition, about how can I serve others as well as serving myself. Seeing another person suffering in the world, you become more compassionate to them and you want to help. It's something that becomes so big that it becomes greater than you. And so we become very heart-centered. The world is, what can we do in the world to make it a better place? So this is what starts to happen as we start to become into oneness, connected with ourselves. And as we ascend, it's about unity consciousness. So alignment with everything. We are being asked to align back to our truth, back to our authentic power. And it's a dance. It's a dance between the masculine and the feminine, coming back into union. So as we ascend as beings here on earth, beyond this dimension, there is no gender. And so the way we are going, we are becoming conscious beings on the planet where men and women are balanced, connected to both the masculine and the feminine. They're taking the inspired action and listening to their creative energy, taking inspired action. Creating heaven on earth is what we are here to do. Create our own personal heaven on earth. Many souls are not listening and they're running around, they're in jobs that they don't like. they hate, but they're not listening to their emotions. So we are being forced to listen now to our emotions, to take stock, to look at our lives. It's going to help us because we will become a conscious being on the planet. And then from there, everything is magical. And so you will just attract other beings who are independent, whole, complete. There will be no codependency. So relationships are going to change. They are going through a big upheaval where there can be no more codependency going forward. You are whole and complete and in your own authentic power. And then you attract balanced relationships all around you. So this is the message that, as we ascend, this is what's going to happen. When I take people up to the higher dimensions, I literally see the bodysuit come off and we become this ball of golden energy. And then we're formless and we're free and we're liberated and we are light. And so this is what's happening inside. But we're taking our physical form to the higher dimensions. We're taking our body. So the body has to now release all of the imprints, all the emotions and the heaviness that it's carried over lifetimes. We are releasing it.
Mm.
Lighter.
Wow. What do you see as our potential moving forward throughout this next decade? We've entered a very special time and we've been at this crossroads for quite some time now. You can definitely feel each year is getting stronger and stronger as the energy moves. And again, as we talked about releasing those imprints, those limiting beliefs, that everything that we've gathered throughout lifetime after lifetime, what is the potential for us as a human species moving forward through this next decade? What do you see is possibly one of the timelines, or what's one or many things that you see happening?
For the next decade, I see a lot of new technology coming in. So, as we bring ourselves into balance, we are listening to universal guides. I mean, we're not just the only species here on the earth. There are many dimensions, many planets, and there are many beings in other dimensions. They are communicating with us. So as we start to listen and tune in, we will hear, and there are many, many things that will be downloaded to us as we listen in our meditation space. So new technologies, new scientific ways of doing things, collaboration between the scientific world and the spiritual world, where we are listening to each other. We're using sound and music to heal the body. We are using energy to heal the body. We have to move beyond suffering and beyond illness. So there's going to be a lot of technology that will come in to help us. Lots of ideas going forward. So otherworldly ideas being brought to earth. I mean, I have been shown healing temples, crystal temples, all kinds of things in other dimensions, light technology, and they want to anchor this here on earth, which will then help us to align with our personal mission. We are so powerful as human beings. We are superhumans, we are avatars, but we've forgotten and we think that we are limited and we are stuck in our lives. But the moment you start to change your frequency, you start to align to another vibration. We are powerful, powerful avatars. So there's going to be so much change on the planet. We are becoming more compassionate, so the current structures must fall. And if you look at the world now, it looks crazy right now. Because the current structures are breaking down, they must be dismantled for new compassionate unity consciousness to come in, where we care about everyone and everything, respect for the planet, respect for the elements, respect for everything, the animals, the plant life, all of it. We are learning this. So I see a lot of change in the next decade, but for the betterment of humanity.
Mm. Well, exciting times, that's for sure. It's a
Yeah.
great time to be alive and really just look forward to the flow and the unfoldment of what's to come. I am very optimistic as well, and I feel this newfound energy taking over the planet, and it's going to be a fun ride. So if people want to get in touch with you, if people want to possibly get a healing session from you, or just want to talk to you, what is the best way they could do that? Do you have a website they can go to?
Yeah, so they can contact me on my website, and that's www.neelaminocha.energy. And on there are all my different session types, and they can email me, so all my contact details are on there. But also, I have some videos on YouTube, and there's one on divine union, and there's one on divine masculine, divine feminine healing. So I think those videos will really help you to understand the balance of the masculine and the feminine. And sometimes people think that they're about a man and a woman having a relationship, but actually it's the inner dance of our masculine and feminine energy. So this is the conversation that one is having with the other and finding that balance point. So they're very beautiful, and they will really help the audience understand the dance between our own masculine and feminine energy. And there's a lot of healing energy coming through that, so it starts to harmonize our field as well. So check those
Mm.
out on YouTube on Neelam and Minocha. They will help. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And do you have any other updates you'd like to share in regards to some of your work in 2020 and what you'll be up to?
Yeah, so in 2020, I'm doing a lot of work where I'm taking people up to different star systems. So we're going to Venus in February, we're going to the ninth dimension to work with the Arcturians, we're going to work with the Galactic Federation, and so they're monthly events where I do meditations and also energy transmissions. What they do is they release lifetimes of trauma. We go to the higher frequencies where we anchor the higher frequencies of love and light into the body. New light technology, new light codes that will align your soul to who you are, the truth of who you are. We start to activate our DNA, so our memories of lifetimes on other star systems, because we're multidimensional beings, they start to come online and be activated. So we start to remember who we are, what we've done. I didn't know any of this, but as I cleared my traumas and my emotions from the past, I started to activate and awaken all of this part of me. And we will be going to those star systems to trigger the memories, receive the activations, light codes, to help light workers and souls on their path. So there are many meditations they can do, lots of group work happening, lots of women's groups where they're being empowered as well to step out, groups we're going to work with the divine masculine, divine feminine as well. That's another guidance that I've received, that I need to start doing those groups. But there is just so much. So they can look on my website or on my Facebook page for the events that are coming up. And there's going to be a lot of group work during 2020. So they're done by Zoom in the comfort of your home. And then I take you on a journey with me. So they're magical.
That sounds great. That sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all of the just beautiful energy you're bringing to the world, all of the work that you're doing to uplift consciousness and bring us back into balance. And I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope everybody else did, and look forward to the next time we speak.
Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.